Hi, welcome to another of BYJU'S live sessions for JEE. Now, I'm assuming that my viewers today are the 11th standard students or the students who have just gone to 12th standard. And I'll be particularly talking to the kids who have just come to 11th, right? Now, dude, the thing is, your standard 10th is done. Hopefully you got good grades and now you're in 11th standard, and you're probably in a state where either you have prepared your mind that I definitely have to go crack the IIT JEE, or you're like in a sort of a confused state where you're not sure whether you should or whether you should not, or you're in a state where you're clear that you don't want to prepare for IIT JEE, you want to go for something else. See, the first thing I want to tell you is that it's good if you are in category 1 or category 3. If you are in category 1, that you have completely prepared your mind that this is what I want to do, and I am going to do anything that it takes me to reach that spot because I have decided to do that, right? And in this session, I'll be revealing certain truths which you should know before you start preparing for JEE, right? Certain things you must be aware of. This session would also contain some warnings, and it will also contain some suggestions, right? So please take this the whole thing very constructively. And for the category 3 people, right, the people who have decided not to go for IIT JEE, that's also fine, right? They know that this is the thing which I am about. This is what I like. I don't want to go into studying physics, chemistry, mathematics that deeply, and I'm clear about it. Okay, I don't want to go there. I want to do something else. That is totally fine. See, unless and until you're clear about doing something or not doing something, it is totally cool, right? Because at least you know and you do something else and you're not waste your time. It's the people who are confused in between, my friends who are not very sure if they should prepare for JEE or whether they should not. I hope that this session would be helpful to you, okay, in making a decision. So the first thing you'd notice, and you would have obviously noticed if you don't have an elder brother or someone who would have told you about IITs and all that, is that once you come to 11th standard, the syllabus suddenly changes from this to that, right? From a small pebble to a big rock, the syllabus has turned to. I don't want to point any fingers to blame anything for this, but this is the fact, right? Now, given this much syllabus, right, what would you do to effectively cover the whole syllabus? Because see, till 10th standard you're getting trained in studying a very relatively a very small portion of your compared to this, right? Now that you have come to 11th, things have gone wild, and if you don't have a plan, if you're not being strategic about learning, then it's not going to work, okay? JEE doesn't work like अरे यार बाद में देख लेंगे, ठीक है? अरे यार बाद में देख लेंगे is not the way JEE works. It's like I remember that when I was in 9th standard, sometimes, not all the times, like I would not pay my utmost attention while I was in the classroom, or I would not do my homeworks properly, and it must have happened to all of us. Let's be real. But 1 month before the examination, and something would just trigger in me that I have to get good grades. I don't want to like get like I don't want to get low percentages, and I don't want to embarrass myself, so I would like study really hard, and I found that I performed like decently, above average. But that kind of logic doesn't work with JEE. It's not like you skipped the chapters, or then you're thinking that आखिरी के 4 महीने में मैं बहुत रगड़ के पढ़ाई करूंगा और सब कुछ कर लूंगा. That doesn't happen, okay? So take that thing out of your mind that in the end I will study really hard and I'll do it. That doesn't happen, because the syllabus is very vast. No matter how hard you study, you won't be able to cover everything. And it's not just about covering everything, okay? Because I'll tell you, JEE is made up of these two parts, okay? There is the content, and then there is the practice, okay? So content is that you know what, say for example, what Newton's laws of motion are. You know what Newton's laws of motion are. You know what is the second law, you know what is the first law, you know what is the third law. You can recite it, you can explain it, right? But when I give you a question, a really well-made question from NLM, Newton's laws of motion, how fast does it occur to you how to solve that problem? How fast does it come to your mind? How should you write those equations, or what should you consider your system to be, or what should you consider your frame of reference to be? That matters a lot. Okay, that matters a lot. And how does that come? That doesn't just come from the content, it comes from deliberate practice. Okay, I'm using the word deliberate because see there's this theory of system 1 and system 2, which was I would say which was a guy called Daniel Kahneman. He's a very famous psychologist and economist. He's written about it in his book Thinking Fast and Slow. But the point of that idea, this is the way I like to think about it, is that there are two systems of thought, right? There's a system 1 where if I ask you a question, 2 plus 2 is how much, and you'd be immediately able to tell you 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, right? But if I ask you what is the integration of sine square x, you'd say, okay, wait, I know how to do that, but I don't know how to do that immediately. Or if I asked you, like, what is the work done when this much force acts on a body which it displaces for this much distance, right? You'd say, yeah, I know how to do that, but immediately I can't tell you. Give me a minute to think, right? So every time you take a minute to think, what you're doing is you're going to your system 2 to find out that answer. And every time you're giving quick answers, you're giving those answers from your system 1. So you have got two systems, system 1 and system 2. When you practice something so much, right, you practice something so much that it starts to penetrate from your system 2 to your system 1, that is when you say that you've gained a good level of expertise in that thing. At least from JEE perspective, this is what I mean, right? Like, for example, take any topic of JEE, you know the concept, fine. I don't, like, millions of people know the concept, right? You know how to solve the basic questions, cool, you know that. Now, how many questions have you solved? There's a very famous quote by Richard Feynman. He says that solve every problem that has ever been solved. Have you solved all the problems from H.C. Verma? Have you solved all the problems given in different books? Have you solved all the problems given in our app? The more problems you solve, the more that idea sort of precipitates in your mind. The more it will come from your system 2, where you have to go and search for, oh, where that idea was. Oh, this was the idea. This is how I'll apply the concept. This is how I'll connect them. This is the solution. You don't have half an hour for that. You're given 3 minutes. So this process, you'll undergo the exact same process, but this needs to speed up. And for that, you need practice. And I'm using the word deliberate practice because no matter what people tell you, the process of learning science is not always fun. You know that, right? Sometimes it's fun. It's like climbing a mountain, right? You climb, you climb, you climb. Sometimes it sweats, sometimes it pains, but you climb because you want to reach that summit. And even when you don't reach that summit, somewhere in between, you take a rest and you look at the scene, the beautiful valley and everything, and you feel so much at peace. I mean, you would have reached the same spot driving a car. You would not feel the same way as you would feel when you have, like, climbed to that spot, right? So learning is something like that. I mean, like, I struggle to understand some concept, okay? And I sit and I scribble notes, but I am enjoying that pain, okay? I'm enjoying climbing the mountain because once in a while, I get to sit in some very beautiful spot. I get to see one equation. I get to see the beauty of nature in some way. And I feel extremely, I don't know, exhilarated by that, extremely enthused by that. I get into a frenzy because of that. And those are the moments I cherish. But it's not like you have just those kind of moments every bit in science. If it was so, everybody would have been a scientist. But that's not the case, right? So things can get a little boring. Things can get a little tedious. Things can get a little too, rigid. But see, don't get lost in those things. Don't get lost in those boredoms. You have to push through. You have to push through. You have to push through. You have to have a single track mind if you really want to crack that exam, okay? And that means going through all these things every day. Imagine how each and every day of your life is going to be for 2 years if you're planning to prepare for JEE and you're planning to get a good rank in it. Imagine that, and then you decide whether you want to do it or not, okay? But if you still love it, you still love, working every day in and out, and extracting those pearls of physics, chemistry and mathematics, and like feeling like having the gems of the world in your hand, go for it, okay? But don't be in a delusion that every bit of it is going to be like extremely fun. No, it won't be. Let me be very honest. But the whole thing, you'd be glad that you did it. You'd be glad that you did it, okay? So that's one thing I want to say. So that's the word deliberate. You have to do deliberate practice every day, okay? Now, so this was some words from my guts. I don't know. Certain other suggestions that I want to give you is, one of the things is attend all the classes, okay? Don't miss things. See, it's not 10th standard anymore, okay? It's not your secondary school. It's not your high school. I don't know, it's called high school. Yeah, it's not your high school anymore, right? It's not 8, 9, 10th, where you don't go in for a class for a day, अगले दिन जाके भाई क्या पढ़ाया था, हाँ ये पढ़ाया था, चलो ठीक है ये पढ़ लेते हैं, ये रट लेते हैं. That doesn't work, okay? You are learning organic chemistry. You're learning how, I don't know, are you learning about addition reactions? One day you miss a class, I can bet you that from next class you won't understand anything, a single bit of it, okay? And if somehow you ask your friends, you go to your teachers, you somehow you find that link that you missed, right? You might. But like if you miss more than one classes, if you miss 2 classes, 3 classes, we know what is going to happen after 3 classes. When you go, you'd feel like they're talking some alien language here, okay? You won't get anything. And that is the point where people feel like, I won't be able to do it anymore. Most of the people who think that they will not be able to do it anymore, it's not because they're dumb. That word should not even exist. It's not because they can't do it. It's because they just don't have the necessary, prerequisites for that. This is just because they missed certain steps. Now they look at the thing and they say, I can't climb. No, you have to just take those steps, okay? So try not to miss classes. And for your benefit, and this was not there in my time, we have come up with this app called BYJU'S the Learning app, where this is the beauty of technology, that anytime like you feel like you're missing out on something, you can go back and re-watch the videos, right? So if you missed out on something in your classrooms, if you're taking, or if you're doing it entirely on the app, that's a different thing. You can go back and re-watch those things, and you should not postpone it for later, okay? Now, next thing I want to say is to make good and clear notes, okay? Making notes is an art, first of all, I would say, for at least for this thing, for this bit of your 2 years, and it's extremely important. Why is that? Because see, the core, everything is linked. The syllabus is vast, okay? The syllabus is vast. You can't be like, आज ये पढ़ लिया, अब फिर मुझको ये याद रहेगा 2 साल तक याद रहेगा, for 24 months you'll remember that? No way, okay? After, it's not that you learn something and then even if you learn something and if you're not doing anything after that for a long time, even then you forget that, okay? Here you learned that thing, you did a lot of deliberate practice in this, then you learned something else, you did a lot of deliberate practice, you didn't learn something else, you did a lot of deliberate practice. You're going to forget things. You're going to forget what your teacher said on that particular day, like 1 year, 3 months back. So what do? You make notes. Don't be lazy inside classroom. Don't be like laid back and just sitting and just absorbing the knowledge. No, sit and write the notes, okay? Write it in English, write it in Hindi, write it in your language, write it in Malayalam, Tamil, whatever. You must be comfortable with that, okay? And write good notes. And I always suggest my students, don't be stingy. Buy a separate notebook for each chapter, okay? I remember, and I know that in your 10th standard you probably buy like a single notebook for like physics, and then one single notebook for chemistry, and like your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Don't do that. Here your single notebook is like one chapter. You write all your notes in that one notebook, and whatever pages are remaining, you solve your problems there. Do all the deliberate practice there. I also suggest, this might be a little too far, but people who really want to score good, if you're solving a problem and if you don't get it right, don't cross it out. Just mark wherever you're going wrong. This way you find your pattern. Next time you solve more problems later, when you revise, when you solve more problems, you'll find that this is the mistake which I did last time also. The same problem I solved last time. I have a record for that. Now you realize, oh yeah man, every time I solve, somehow I end up making mistake in this particular part. It becomes conscious in your brain. Once एक बार वो बात आपके दिमाग में conscious आ जाती है, आपको वो बात समझ में आ गई कि यहाँ पर मैं गलती करता हूँ, then you won't do that again. Next time you're going to write that thing, your brain would say, hey, careful, okay? Now, uh, another very important thing about preparation for JEE is revision, right? Everything is because of the vast syllabus and limited time. I'm not saying that you're not a genius. You're a genius. You can do anything. But a genius knows that deliberate practice is required, and that's what makes you genius. So revision is extremely important, because the same thing, you learn something, you're learning so many things every day, you'd forget the thing you learned in the first place, man. And what's the point? What's the point of spending 1 month learning mechanics if you are not able to solve that one question which appears after two years, because you've forgotten everything? So if you have not revised, then what's the point? So for that, I usually suggest, and this is what I used to do, and I found it extremely beneficial, and it might not work for some people, I don't know, but I don't know. My suggestion is that every night before sleeping, have this 15-minute period where you remind yourself of what you're doing, of the bigger picture. What is it that you're doing with your life? Okay, I'm going to write JEE. There might be some letdowns in that day. There might be some praises in that day. You might feel too elated, or you might be feeling too low. But in the end of the day, that 15 minutes, you remind yourself, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Okay, and in that 15 minutes, you buy a thick diary and write down what all things I learned today. I learned in chemistry, I learned this, physics, I learned this, bio, I learned this. Not bio, sorry, mathematics, I learned this. You write that down every day. What will this accomplish? Make it a habit that every Sunday or every whatever day fits best for you, you'd go back and flip through that diary. So you'd know that 1 week before I learned this, do I remember this now? I don't remember it. Or you can make a schedule that after every 1 week I'd go through the diary, and whatever I've done a week before, I'll revise that. Or every day there will be 1 hour period where I'd be just revising the things which I'd just learned 1 week back. Some kind of planning you do, okay? So that everything that you have learned, you have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 diaries, as many diaries as you want, but this will create a good revision schedule, okay? And revision is extremely important. See, everything is linked between the vast syllabus and the small time. So, and also understand, in the examination of JEE, they are not trying to test how intelligent or how deep you are, okay, how deeply you can understand. Although they want to understand how deeply you can understand the concepts, they're also, along with that, they're trying to test how smart you are, okay? You're going to be engineer, you're writing an engineering examination, please understand that, okay? An engineer is someone who's supposed to find solutions. He's supposed to find creative ways to solve a problem which others are not able to solve. That's what an engineer is, at least in today's definition, right? So being an engineer, you should understand the engineering of time in your examination. So you have 3 hours, you have this many questions. So they want you to be smart. They want you to adjust as to what all questions you should solve, which question you should not solve, which all questions you should just leave it, what all things you should do according to whatever capabilities, whatever resources you have. You have to like make that judgment, and that's what they want to test, okay? So please keep that in mind. Revision is a smart thing to do, okay? That's what I want to get at. Now, one last thing which I want to say here is that this is a thing I learned very recently, and I would like to share it with you, that a lot of Eastern philosophers have this idea that you know, there's this voice inside your head which constantly keeps saying things, you know, like right now I'm giving an FB live to you. There's a voice inside my head which is saying, are the students getting benefited by it? Are they understanding? Are they making fun of you? Whatever. Like, there's a voice which keeps saying something all the time, you know. And this is the voice which everybody has. It's a constant. This is called a monkey mind. It keeps saying things to you. You'll not get selected in IIT. You're not good for nothing. You're this and that. Okay. Or it keeps saying too much related thing. Yo, you're so good. You're like, you don't need practice. You don't need anything. There's a voice which keeps talking to us all the time, okay? And you notice that there are moments when you have, like, you know, just played a really good game of basketball, or you have like just swam across a swimming pool, or you've just ran for a long time, that you sit and you feel utterly peaceful. You feel so quiet. You feel like, for a minute or two, that voice is just gone. I'm not there. I'm like, wow. Sometimes when you have very good sleep, you wake up and you feel so fresh, you feel so quiet. At that time, if someone gives you a question, you don't think. The word doesn't tell you, hey, you will be able to solve this question, you'll not be able to solve this question, you don't know this concept, know this concept. All that drama just goes away. You're just there, you're just flowing in that thing, so absorbed that there's nothing but you and that question and those things which are there in your mind. Okay, this is called effortless action. Okay, and this comes when there is balance in your life. Okay, and that balance, I just want to come at certain small points, small things, little things that matter. Exercise every day. Okay, and meditate. There are some methods of meditation, you will find it on YouTube. Meditate every day, find half an hour. To Mahatma Gandhi, there's a story where there was a day when he was supposed to do there was a lot of work, and he had a habit of meditating for an hour every day. And someone asked him that, today you have so much work, what's about the meditation? And he's like, oh yeah man, today I've got so much work, I won't be able to meditate 1 hour today, I'll be meditating 2 hours. Okay, because if you have got more work, you need to do more meditation, because you need to be in that effortless mode. Okay, and this is very important, nobody tells this. Okay, this is a very important thing. You exercise, you meditate, you drink a lot of water, you wake up early, that's a good thing to do. And be in this effortless action, effortless mood all the time. If you're sitting in classroom, your friends don't exist, nothing is, there's the teacher, the board, and you should be in that state. Okay, and you have to elicit that state out of you all the time. So these are some ideas which I wanted to share with you. I hope I haven't scared you. I didn't mean to, but I wanted to lay bare some realities in front of you about preparing for IIT JEE. It's a beautiful thing, it's a fun thing. Okay, but don't get, it's not a candy. Okay, so with that, I think there are some questions. I'll take some questions now. Okay, so Jagdish Jaina is asking, sir, I'm student of 12th. For some reason, I could not complete my 11th JEE course. I have only BYJU'S 12th course. How can I prepare for 2019 JEE? So Jagdish, you have not completed your 11th course, and see, still there is hope. I wouldn't say that you can't. Okay, I mean, you can totally do it. You can totally even get a good rank. And if you have not done 11th, I don't know why you have just the 12th course. You can also get the 11th course, and you can take all the lectures from BYJU'S, the learning app. I would also suggest that you take, if your friends and all go to coaching classes, not just coaching classes, any institutes, you take their notes, you do that, you solve with C Verma, you solve all the tests that we have in the app. You watch all the videos, even while watching videos, make notes. Okay. So that is one question what I have. So thank you for joining us today on this session. I hope this was in some way helpful to all of you, and all the best for your future preparations. All right, thank you.